We quite often finish our videos with a drink, but this one we're actually starting with a drink. We've come back into Palma, and we're actually in La Caixa's centre. It's a centre for exhibitions, and we're going to an exhibition of Egyptian art and Egyptian works. Actually, it comes from the British Museum, but we'll talk more about that later. Cheers.
Happy Friday.
It's Friday, by the way. The reason for coming into Palma this evening is to look at all of these things which have come from the British Museum. So here's a piece of papyrus with drawings on the hieroglyphics on, and the typical drawings that come from ancient Egypt. Quite amazing to see some of these things, and these that we're looking at here are something like 3,000 years old, and these are tools that they found in the temple. We know so much about ancient Egypt is because they wrote things down. Something I always tell the children: write things down. Things that are written down can last a long time. This is from Ramesses II, and during 1279 to 1213 before Christ, so over 3,000 years ago. Just amazing skill and workmanship, and this is all this time ago, and they could actually make these things with such intricate designs with tools that existed in those days. No machines, no computers, no 3D printers. Quite amazing how they've stayed the same for all of this time. Snakes feature a lot in the ancient Egyptian artwork, and in particular the cobra. A ring from Amenhotep III. And here's another one. They also like their insects as well. Some of them were quite well celebrated. Beautiful colours here. Here's a vase with more hieroglyphics. And some of the things here tell you the name of the person, when they were born, and the various other details about them. We've never visited Egypt, and it's on our list to do things, but always wanted to see the Sphinx, and here's a mini version of it. It's about just over a foot high and about 2 foot long. This one's got a little bit of damage to it, but it has to be forgiven considering its age. actually made from bronze from the period 664 to 332 BC. So he's at one of the stones with the inscriptions on it. To it a much bigger stone with the hieroglyphics, and it's the hieroglyphics that are telling us the story of what went on in that time. Some of these pieces, considering when they were made, they're in just beautiful condition. Anita just said as though it was made yesterday. Many of them were made out of granite, which is a very, very hard stone. In the depiction below it says it's actually a red quartzite. Quartz is pretty hard too. Here's a bronze mother with child, depicting the mother about to...
No, it's the god.
The god, feeling a god. Oh, sorry.
It says that it is Isis with her son Horus.
Horus.
Similar to ceramic.
So this is a glass type material, and it's really quite small. It's only just over an inch by maybe 2 or 3 inches. Not very big, but incredible detail there. And this piece is only a bit more than an inch high. Just looking at this, and when we look at it straight away, Anita sees a pair of skis here and a bowling skittle. But if we look up above, we can see the cobras again, and what must have been beautifully coloured. And considering it's all this time, this one's actually 4,000 years old, and it's still got some of the original paintwork on it. As is the one next to you, a little bit more modern. This one's only 3,000 years. Gold was used in a lot of their statues, and here it's used to decorate a piece.
Amon-Ra. God.
And this is from Karnak near to Thebes. Here we've got a large piece here. Must be a metre or more high, depicting an owl. Some inscriptions down below. At the moment I'm actually teaching about rocks at school, and this one's basalt. Similar to granite, but much finer crystals, but a very, very hard rock. We haven't seen very much written in English, but here it tells us about Egypt, land of the pharaohs. It tells us that the pharaohs ruled Egypt in North Africa from about 3000 BC until the Roman conquest in 30 BC. Behind an apparent unity, many changes, economic, technological, artistic and political, transformed the country. Moreover, power was sometimes shared with invaders coming from mighty nearby kingdoms. In spite of these changes, however, the inherent flexibility of the Egyptian monarchy allowed it to persist for over 3 millennia. Pharaoh represented the god on earth, maintaining Ma'at, that's the universal order, and protecting Egypt from her enemies. This exhibition explores the ideals, beliefs, and symbolism of the Egyptian kingship, but also seeks to uncover the realities behind these ideas. Ancient Egyptians recorded years following the reign of each pharaoh. For example, year 5 of the reign of Ramesses II is equivalent to about 1274 BC. In modern times, we're familiar with the system of dynasties, related groups of rulers, which was first created by Manetho, an Egyptian priest who lived during the 3rd century BC. These dynasties were later organized into larger periods of history, known as the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms, which are interspersed with the intermediate periods, during which the state was often not centralized. Ramesses II is thus the 3rd pharaoh of the 19th dynasty within the New Kingdom. We're now up on the 2nd floor. Lots of inscriptions on this one. Looking at a pedestal that's only got the feet on it. This is from the Ramesses II era. Here's a bow. So this is a bow. My estimate is about 2 meters nearly, just over 6 feet. And next to it is an axe. Axe is made from bronze, and the bow obviously from wood. Not sure what sort of wood though. I've been looking at some weapons, and here is a scene depicting a battle. So you can see the arrow just entering here, and another arrow here, legs up in the air. More battle scenes down below. And up above. This is a small figure, about 2 inches I suppose, and it's actually a prisoner from Asia. That's the depiction here. So it looks as though he might have his arms tied behind his back.
Figure of how they imagine the Asiaticals.
With a beard, a barba. a military statue, somebody who's a commander in the military, very important person. And this came from Thebes. And it's the writing on it tells a little of his biography. Some of the writing is really quite tiny. I find this very difficult. This one's made from granite. When you start to look, you can start to see some of the detail, carrying something there, writing. And here there's an animal. There must be something on its nose. So, some jewellery in this cabinet. So there's a ring. It's beautiful detail. It's a marble statue of Alexander the Great. From the time of Ptolemy. Peter nearly got excited when she saw this because she thought it was actually music that was written down. Here we've got a completely different style of writing. Here we've got a whole section with different small statues ranging from about a foot high, about 30 centimetres, some of them a little bit smaller, made out of these different stones that were available to them at the time. This was made from calcite. And over 2,500 years old. The biggest pieces we've seen here. This is from Ramses VI. It's actually a replica. This one's a bronze. So it's interesting that they worked in both metal and stone. Decorative examples from Ramses III. Beautiful colours here. This is a glass type material. And incredible detail. And then some work in gold.
How delicate that is.
We've got 3 cats. Another incredibly delicate, this is only just over about an inch square. Some ring.
It says that's probably from a necklace.
It's a really big ring.
Disculpe, cerramos en 3 minutos. Serían solamente 3 minutos para verte todo.
Well, something different from us, rather than a walk around Palma Nova, something a little bit more cultural, something that's fascinated me since I was a child. So I'm really pleased to have been able to visit this exhibition from the British Museum of Ancient Egypt. It's on our to-do list. We've definitely got to go there and have a look at some of these things in real life. So thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye.